Give me some kind of test, because there's other creation theories, there's other Bibles, there's other holy books, right? And I don't know. I don't know how to choose. You got to give me some predictions, then you got to go out and dig up some dirt and find some evidence. You got to date some rocks, you know? You say it's 6,000 years old, prove it with some kind of evidence where you date the rocks. Evolutionists are dating the rocks. They have their techniques. They agree on it. They accept it. All the geologists, physicists, and chemists accept it. Well, that's for the creationists. And until they do that, until they can come up with something, anything, which will allow their theories to be tested, you cannot make science simply by attacking somebody else's hypothesis or theories. I've been a scientist, and I know that. If you don't have a better theory, and you can't provide evidence for your theory, right, and have it peer reviewed, then you're not a scientist, and you shouldn't be in that place. Look, I would not want to go into your church, your place of worship, right, and say, excuse me, you're a tax-deductible organization. I have a right to come in here and teach your children that there is no God, right? And I would no more do that than the creationists should do what they've been doing. And I think that's really the fundamental problem. Let religion stay in the churches, in the home, in the family, where it belongs.
Okay, and we're gonna end with giving Dr. Hovind a rebuttal.
He mentioned 6 or 7 things here. Let me get as many as I can. He's mentioned about the church, being tax deductible. I'd like to point out this university is also tax deductible. And you're preaching one religion right here, the religion of evolution. It's worse than tax deductible. It's tax funded. Okay, you have both tax deductions. They don't pay tax property on this tax on this property that this building sits on. They also get paid to build this building by tax dollars. So you have a real serious problem. Churches may be tax deductible, but they're not funded by taxes. So you have 2 strokes against you there. Secondly, you mentioned about better, I didn't get to write your quote down here. Let me skip that and watch the tape. You mentioned about other holy books. I stick with the King James Version of the Bible for multiple reasons. I'm very nervous about some of the other so-called holy books we see in the world. Go ahead and get me on there. What happened? Hit it again, would you? For instance, in the Quran, it says, Allah told Muhammad that those who opposed his message should be killed, or they should be nailed to a tree, or their hands and legs should be cut off. In Surah 47, he says, when you meet those who disbelieve, smite at their necks till when you have killed and wounded many of them. The last hour will not come before the Muslims fight the Jews and the Muslims kill them. So I get a little nervous about some of these other so-called holy books that have it as part of their teaching that anybody that won't become what you are, you kill them. Okay, I'm definitely not in favor of that, okay? Christianity is certainly very tolerant of all sorts of other religions. Our country was founded so people could have religious freedom. Secondly, you said creationists do not want to accept evidence that is universally accepted. I have asked repeatedly, what evidence do we have for evolution? I think I pointed out tonight in my first session that all of the so-called evidence that is used to support the theory has been proven wrong. I'm just asking that the lies be taken out of the textbooks. If you have some real evidence and you saying that it exists and museums are full of it, you're mistaken. Handing me a magazine is not evidence for evolution. I'll be glad to review these articles if you'd like an honest answer. I would like to point out, though, that many scientists disagree. There are at least 8 different flavors of evolutionists, okay? And they're all, you mentioned several times tonight, they're all arguing among themselves, But the fact of the matter is the argument's closed to real criticism, just like the argument about communism was closed to real criticism in the Soviet Union for many years. They would argue among themselves about what type of communism is best, but you don't ever question, is communism good at all? And it's to the point today where you don't question evolution in the university, you only question which type of evolution is good. I think you have a very closed-minded society here in this university where they're only presenting evidence for one side. There is ample evidence this Earth is not billions of years old. I think that ought to be presented to the kids. For instance, the moon is moving farther away from the Earth every year. The moon gets about 3 inches farther away every year. Obviously, that means it used to be closer. If you go back in time, at some point you have a problem because the closer the moon is, the higher the tides get. You folks may not worry about the tides here, but in Pensacola you worry about the tides. The inverse square law makes a real serious problem. Actually, about 1.2 billion years ago, at the current observed rate, the moon would be touching the Earth. And here they are telling us it's 4 billion years old, or 4.6. That simply is not scientifically logical. There is ample evidence that the universe cannot be billions of years old. If it were billions of years old, that still doesn't solve the problem for evolution. There is ample evidence that life only comes from other living things. There is no evidence for spontaneous generation. I mentioned the 6 different flavors of evolution tonight at the beginning. All we see are minor changes within the kind. Now, if somebody wants to believe it was different long ago and far away, well, you just enjoy yourself. But that's a fairy tale for grown-ups, okay? I'm convinced, after studying this for 30-some years, people choose deliberately to believe in this theory, which is totally devoid of evidence, for all sorts of reasons. Some believe it because that's all they've ever heard. They've never heard the other side. Some believe in evolution because they hope there's no God to answer to. Some may have social-political reasons because evolution is the foundation for communism and Marxism and Nazism. We cover that for 2 hours on videotape number 3. Some simply don't want God telling them what to do. Now, you do whatever you want, but Judgment Day we're going to find out who's right and who's wrong. I am convinced the scientific evidence points to a recent creation 6,000 or 7,000 years ago, a global worldwide flood in the days of Noah, which represents God's authority to judge his creation, and he's coming to judge it again, whether you like it or not. Be ready for that. Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed this debate. This is Kent Hovind in Pensacola, Florida. I really enjoy doing these debates at universities because I think it's only fair that students see both sides of this extremely important topic of creation and evolution. All they're getting is one view. They're being brainwashed, they're being indoctrinated, not educated. If you're a student and watching this tape and you'd like to set up a debate, I'd be honored to come debate at your university. I'll take on any professor anywhere. If you can call my office and set up a time, we'd be glad to do that. Or I'll be glad to do a telephone interview with your class. If you can set up a system where I can answer questions with an entire class by phone, you can call. We'll do that through my cell phone or whatever. I'll do it anytime. I want to be I want to be helpful to students that are being indoctrinated in this one view. If you're a professor and you're watching this tape, I'd be honored to come speak to your class. I don't charge anything for my seminars. I'd be glad to come if I'm in your area. I'll take any questions any students have. I think it's really a wise thing to do to educate students, to get them to see both sides. None of our material is copyrighted. If you'd like to get our materials, we have lots of videotapes on creation and evolution, and I think you'll find it very helpful. If you are watching this tape and you've not trusted Jesus Christ as your Savior, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how big a car you drive or how big a house you have. The Bible says without Christ you're lost and you're going to hell. The Bible says God is angry with the wicked every day. God absolutely hates your sin and my sin. But see, mine has been forgiven. I'm still a sinner and I deserve hell, but it's been forgiven. That's the difference. And that's what He wants for you. If you've not trusted Christ as your Savior, you need to do that right now. Basically, it amounts to a simple confession that you've confessed to God, Lord, I have sinned. I have broken your laws. I've sinned. I've disobeyed you. And if you don't believe you have, then you're really deluded. Okay, read through the scriptures, read through the 10 Commandments in Exodus 20, and you'll see you've broken God's laws. And then you say, but Lord, I believe you died for me, and I'd like you to forgive me and save me. February 9th, 1969, I prayed a simple prayer. I said, Lord, I am a sinner. I know I deserve to go to hell, but I know you died on the cross to pay for my sins, and I'd like you to forgive me and save me right now. And on that day, Jesus Christ became my Savior. Now, I've been trying to grow and be a good Christian and be a good follower of His. Don't always succeed.